Welcome back, Vine Nation, and my name is Dave, and today I have something wacky to tell you about. That's right, we are going to do a board game review, and it's been a long time, but I'm excited to do a review of Wacky Races. Disclosure, this was sent to me from Simon, and I want to say a huge thank you to Simon. We appreciate your support, and it helps us get these reviews out, so thank you so much. But that does not weigh my opinion. The score of this game will be by its merits. So I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of Wacky Races and then show you what's in the box. Basically, this is a family type game and it's super quick. Of course, it's a racing game, but you're just playing color-coded cards to move. So it's super easy to learn and super accessible, but it is super pretty. Now, does all that add up to being a decent or good game? Well, I'm gonna have to tell you about it. When it comes to the theme, I'm not too familiar with Wacky Races, the cartoon. I did watch one cartoon show to kind of get familiar with it, and it's just a classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon. The only thing that I was familiar of Wacky Races was the dog that laughs. Yeah, that dog. So that's the theme, and now you know how the game kind of works. Let me show you what comes in the box, and then I'll give you a brief description on how it plays. Let's go.
So here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever whirl their wheels in the Wacky Races, competing for the title.
Okay, so the components really consist mostly of these awesome race cars and the picturation of the characters. Now, they always come in this carefully designed holder insert. Simon takes very good care to make sure that these stay the way that they make them. Now, there are painted versions. You're seeing some of that on the camera right now. That's a deluxe version. If you really like this game, that's something that you can think about getting. I really would like that, but these characters right here are done well enough that you can distinguish who they are. And, you know, I'm going to stick with these, but man, I really would like the painted ones. But yeah, all these cars are so nice. Look at this tank. It has little treads, which is super cool. And then we go over to the not so impressive part of the game, and that is the fun time cards. I'm not a fan of fun time cards. Simon, I'm sorry, but you're getting docked a few times for these fun time cards, though they are nicely done. They're very thick, good gloss, so it kind of evens out, but not really, because I don't like fun time cards, but they are there. And then you have the racetrack pieces here, and they're decent thick cardboard here, and you'll be constructing that yourself. And then the starting point here, and then you have the player boards. Now you'll get a player board for each person, and these are a tad bit thin, but again, they're thick enough cardboard to stand the test of time, I think, if you take decent care of your games. And of course, this is where you're going to be putting the fun time cards for your special powers for your characters, which of course are right here, fun times. But those are all the components essentially, other than, you know, the inserts that they have. This part right here, I'm not really sure what this part of the inserts for. It's kind of a mystery to me, but if you know, let me know down in the comments below, because everything else seems to have a spot, and that extra spot there. Okay, so now let me give you a tiny synopsis of how you play this game. It's not going to be a thorough walkthrough, but I'll give you a flavor of how this plays. Let's go. Okay, so this isn't a complete racetrack setup. In sake of camera space, I had to do a smaller track, but basically you're going to have it all set up with all the characters here, and then you're going to have your characters set up here as well, because everybody will be moving. Neutrals, you, and Mr. Dick Dastardly. So in the beginning of the game, you're going to give everybody their player board and their special powers, and they can use their special powers pretty much essentially whenever the condition is met, and then you're going to start the game. And as you are playing, Dick Dastardly will be racing you, but he can't win. He will be moving around the racetrack until he is the lead person, and then he'll drop a trap, which can be good or can be bad, but we'll get back to that in a second. So on your turn, you're essentially just moving at least one spot. You're going to have 3 cards in your hand, and you always draw back up the 3 cards, but the first card you play is just a wild. So this keeps everybody engaged, and you're at least doing something. Unlike Sorry, if you're playing Sorry, there's a turn to where you don't do something. I like that you get to at least move once. So you throw a card down. Let's say this gray guy is moving. He gets to move. We'll talk about traps later. Let's say this guy gets to move wild. Now 2 people can be on the same spot. If another person moves to the spot that is coming up, then he will then go to the next spot that can be occupied. Sometimes you can go up quite a bit if everything's full. But she moved by just playing a wild. Now you can move 3 times if you have the cards that correspond to the spot that you're on. Now in the case of her, she wouldn't be able to move because she would have to have a tan. But let's say that she does have a tan, then she will play her tan card, having 1 more card in her hand, and if she has another red, she will then play the red and then move on to the next space. Now that is what you will do on your turn. Sometimes you'll do special powers, but it's a pretty simple game. That's it. The last leg of your turn, whatever the last color that you played, that is where Dick Dastardly will move to the next corresponding spot. So since she played red, he wants to move to this red spot, but he can't. He's going to get pushed, and he gets pushed to this spot which already has a trap on it. So he will then go to the next spot instead of trap in this case. But let's say this isn't there. Whenever he's in the lead, he sets a trap, and then he goes to the back of the race. And that's what he'll do every time until he can't move, and he just spins out and crashes because he is never able to win. So if he can't move past the finish line, he's out. Now once everybody's taken their turn, then the neutrals can move. You'll move all the neutrals up 1, and then you'll flip 3 cards, and then every neutral that's on that spot that's corresponding to, like, let's say red, they would move 1. He would move 1, and then I think these guys, if they were neutral, they would move. But they move kind of like you, and I've seen a game where neutrals won. So you need to keep that in mind. Oh, and this spot here breaks up the track. It's like a gas stop. Every one that you have, there are multiple ones you can switch in and out. They do a special power. This one here, I think, is when everybody passes this, the last person that is in line goes up a spot or 2, I think. It kind of gives a boost, but not all of them will do that. They have different variations. So that's the basic gameplay. I will get into some of the cards. So this trap here, if somebody would have landed on it, it will have all other players move for 1 tile. So this is basically you're in an oil slick, and everybody gets a little bit of time and moves ahead of you. Now some of them will be good. They'll unexhaust some of your powers, because when your powers get used on your player board, you have to exhaust them. But some of them will have you unexhaust them, like exhaust one of your special powers. This one makes you exhaust, but some of them will say unexhaust. But the traps aren't always bad. Majority of the time they are. We'll go over some of the powers just so you can get a feel of what they are. This one here is discard up to 3 cards and draw that same number of cards. Everyone has this power, but the other powers do vary. Like these guys right here, where it says after you reveal a trap, draw 4 cards. So the stipulation is met. You use your powers, and now you have 4 cards with you can choose from when you're moving. So you'll continue to do that, trying to get a leg up on everybody until somebody finally passes the finish line here and wins. That's how you play Wacky Races. There are other variants that you can do. They have a champion set rules that they say, and it does vary up the game a little bit once it becomes stale. I'm not really going to get into it too much. You can check them out if you want to online, or if you have the game yourself, and see how that goes. But now let me tell you my thoughts on this game. Let's go. So that's Wacky Races. Now I'm going to be giving this game a percentage or a score, and I'm giving this a solid 87%, which is a high B, and that is because I like this game a lot. The components are, of course, no surprise, top-notch, but the thing about this game is it is simple. I've played other racing games like Formula D that you have to get really thinky and intricate with, like how you're shifting down and drifting, and yes, those are super fun, but very thinky. And sometimes I just want to play a racing game that is solid and silly. Now, if this game wasn't silly, it wouldn't be as fun, but it really nails a silly kind of aspect with the characters and with their slight variations of their powers. I don't know how dramatic it is and how corresponding it is to the characters themselves, but it did keep them slightly asymmetric. Overall, this game is super charming. I think it appeals to pretty much anybody, ages of younger people all the way up to older people who don't play board games and who do play board games, because this game can be introduced and shown how to play in a matter of minutes, and you can actually have fun with the way that the neutrals are moving and how other players are moving. It gets tense all the way up until the end, and then once you use a special power to get you ahead of the race and then you win, it's a nail biter pretty much the whole match. And that's where this game shines, I think, is in its simplistic nature and its quick delivery. Now, the people who I think will be disappointed on this game will be heavy gamers who really want those kind of experiences exclusively. This game is kind of a filler game, nothing that you're going to center a night of gaming around, though you can bust this out multiple times, which is another good thing about it. But the heavy gamer might not like this if that's all they want to play, so keep that in mind. Now, if you just want a small, silly type game that has incredible components, well, this one is a winner. So what CMON was trying to execute with this package, I think they did brilliantly. This is a game that's going to stay on my shelf and is a big winner in my household. So thank you so much for watching today's review, Vine Nation. I hope it was informational enough for you to decide if you want to buy this game, because down below is a link to CMON to purchase this game outright. And if you haven't already, click like or not like. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Please subscribe and hit that bell. And until the next time that I see everybody, I'm Dave, and have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. Join me in another video, whether it be a review of controllers or another board game review. I'm out. Bye.